All right, so Abiola Chamsalami is a world-class performance coach committed to raising world-class leaders and improving the productive capacity and brand perception of organizations and government. So he prefers to impact and influence by adopting a practical approach filled with vivid stories and experiences. Now, he's an alumnus of Harvard University, Lagos Business School, and American Government International Visitor Leadership Program. And he's joined us via Zoom tonight. Thank you so much, Abiola Cham, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, ladies. Everybody looking stunning. This is really cool. You know, it's a relaxed environment to discuss business. Business is always serious, but watching you guys having this conversation, I mean, it will be a joy this evening.
Absolutely. We try to keep it fun and simple so that we do not complicate the matter. But you heard our banter, right?
Sure.
On, growth and the fact that Nigeria is actually the biggest place where if you truly know what you're doing and you know the right strategies to follow, there are opportunities for growth. But this growth, we do not see it translating in businesses. Why is this so?
So a couple of things to think of. When people talk about entrepreneurship, when we talk about SMEs, people focus a lot more on the status that, oh, I'm my own boss, right? Or I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a CEO. Right, without necessarily focusing much on the performance of that business, on the productivity. So it's about the name, it's about the status, and for some, it's about the activities, just because they are waking up and going somewhere every day, and then they don't have someone that they need to report to. You know, so that is on one side. On another side is when we don't do the things that we're supposed to do, you know, to gain results, which I think will be the bulk of the conversation this evening. Now, also because SMEs, businesses, it's a stakeholder thing, which is there are businesses that are working. There is the role of the government, but as AK said earlier, that we should focus on the things we can control and not the things we can't control. So the reason there's much talk about opportunities and we're not seeing as much is what I've just shared, you know, but we'll be focusing on how can we now translate these opportunities into results, into tangible results, not just about the status of being CEO, of being my own boss, you know, all those things people would say back in the day, that fire your boss, be your own boss, get your boss out of the way, you know, moving away from all of those kind of conversations into real, tangible, profitable results.
Absolutely. Who wants to come in?
Okay, I mean, I can come in, and I like where you've started from in focusing on the substance of what you're doing. So it's not just about, oh, I'm my own boss, you know, I just want to be a CEO or anything. And also, I find that when you talk to a lot of small business owners or entrepreneurs, and, you know, you're trying to give them solutions and you ask them, like, what is the greatest problem you have now? They say to you, it's access to finance. That's the first thing they say. Oh, I need money to scale my business. And I'm like, okay, let's backtrack a bit. How about capacity building? How about some housekeeping issues that you need to do? You need to put your books in order. You know, you need to make sure that you understand your financial statements, your cash flow, are you positive or negative, what's coming in, and all of that. That's the kind of seriousness that makes you look bankable, that makes a capital allocator want to invest in your business. So talking about that and looking at, you know, the environment today in Nigeria, I just wanted to understand some of the strategies that you would think would be okay for a typical small business owner to use to essentially expand his net profit margin. So when I'm talking to small business owners, I don't think every time you should just focus on the top line. It's not just about revenues. Oh, okay, this is what is coming in, right? By the time you start to look at your expenses, start to look at your net profit margin, which is essentially your profit as a percentage of what you've sold, right? It gives you additional insight. It helps you to kind of start to uncover the kinds of trends that you can't see, you know, on the top line alone. So in terms of expanding revenue, in terms of reducing your expenses, what are the kind of strategies that, you know, they can start to
Great. You know, when we talk about strategy, a lot of people think that it's one highfalutin thing that is just, you know, up there. It's just about planning, simple. Planning, paying attention to your business and seeing what to do to improve. Now, I like the way you asked this question. I mean, of course, you're a finance expert. And so just looking at the P&L, just look at a P&L of a regular business. So it begins with, yes, the revenue on top, then the cost of goods, right? And then you get your profit, and then you look at the expenses. It is important that businesses pay attention, not just to the revenue on the top, but that cost of goods. Cost of goods, it includes how you move your raw materials from wherever it is, your cost of transportation, and how you transformed that raw material into the finished good that you need to deliver to your customers. And so one of the ways that we can start to improve that figure, because once you reduce that cost, it impacts on your net profit, right? One of the ways to look at it, so do I necessarily need to get this raw material from a distant place where I need to incur as much transport costs, right? That is one. Two is that, do I need to get this raw material 5 days before, 10 days before, or a month before, that I need to now incur storage costs? Right. So if it is not perishable, if it's not perishable raw material that you're using, right? So it's not a perishable raw material that you're using. There are ways that you can think around that cost material. Now, if it is perishable, you can say that, yes, you would produce in 2 days, so you move it in 2 days. So you are not incurring a lot of cost in terms of your storage facilities, so that you're not incurring cost as well in terms of transportation as well. It is important that for each SME to pay attention to that, your P&L. Look at it, what you did last year, right? And then look at it, what are the areas that you can reduce your cost? Another one, and let's move further down. Another one is on admin expenses, staffing, for example. Now, you're an SME. Yes, I know you cannot do this business alone. I know you need people to do the business. And then there are some SMEs, just because they want to let everybody think that they are recruiting the best of the brains. And then you incur huge cost because you're employing someone that's from an Ivy League school, right? And I mean, Ivy League doesn't necessarily mean the person is not pure. And pure, P-U-R-E, previously unidentified recruitment error, right? The fact that the person has a strong accent, British accent, American accent, whatever accent, and the person comes from an Ivy League doesn't necessarily mean that the person is a good fit for your business, right? So it's not about ego tripping. It's not about ego tripping. It's not about trying to show that you have quality, by the caliber of people you recruit. What you want is whoever can give you tangible results. What you want is whoever has the knowledge, the skill, and the attitude to move your business forward. Not necessarily all of that. So you want to pay attention to your staff cost to see how much are you paying for that, vis-a-vis the productivity of that staff. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that don't recruit Ivy League. I'm saying that when you recruit Ivy League, be sure that it is giving you the profit, it's improving your numbers. It's not about your emotions. It's not about your ego. Emotions and ego don't send money. Emotions and ego don't send numbers. Numbers are rational. Emotions are irrational. Ego is irrational. And what you want to do in order to ensure that you manage your cost effectively, pay attention to some of those things. And on top of that list is your cost of goods, your overhead, right, in terms of staffing.
Okay. AK, you want to come in?
Okay.
I saw you smiling all through.
And thank you. Yes, I smiled because he touched on something that I really wanted to mention. Because if you look at the PwC reports for 2020, it breaks down where SMEs spend the most on. Of course, electricity is one of the main things that they spend on. And then you look at things like rent, cost of capital, employee costs, taxes, and transportation. Now, my question really is, how can SMEs leverage technology to cut off some of this cost? I see how you talked about, in terms of the logistics when it comes to their goods, and then you talked about inventory. But can technology actually help, ameliorate some of these costs that SMEs have?
Sure. Yes, technology can. I talked about transportation. I talked about storage facilities. I talked about staffing. You realize that with technology, you may not, depending on the size of your business and what the requirements are, you may not necessarily need as much people as you presently have, right? For you yourself as an entrepreneur, having a small team, having some just little skill on Excel, right? Just little skill with Excel. You may not necessarily need to bring in a finance expert that is on your payroll. I mean, you can have a consultant, right, that comes in once in a while to work with you. So just with simple Microsoft Excel, right? You are able to put in your numbers. You are able to monitor your numbers from time to time. There are a number of apps, that people can use as well. So, for example, let's talk about social media. That yes, you need to keep engaging because your customers, your target market, they're on social media. And by the way, it is important to note that the fact that everybody is saying everybody is on social media does not mean that your customer is on social media. You may just be wasting time, wasting money if your target market is not on social media. Now, I'm not saying don't be there at all, but you don't have to be heavy on social media if you're not making money from. If the buying authority for your business is not on social media, if your consumers and your customers are not on social media, yeah, be there just for presence, but not necessarily heavy. But you realize that because of the conversation that, hey, social media is a new thing and everybody's there. There's a reason why we're on Plus TV, by the way. It is because there's still a lot of people watching TV. Yeah. There's a reason radio stations have not gone off yet. It is because there's a target market that they are serving. Mm-hmm. So it's important to pay attention to that target market. And then if you must do social media, there are apps, there are tools that you can use that you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money or a lot of time or necessarily employing someone who sits there just to do graphics and post every now and then, right? So there's TweetDesk, for example, where you can program whatever it is you want to share over a period of time. You spend some one time to design and to upload, and then you put the date on it, date and time that you want it to post, right? So that makes your work efficient. That makes you put your time into other things. That makes you put your money into other things as well. It is important to embrace technology. It is important to master technology. And by the way, when we say tech, people should not also think about something that is very, very difficult to do.
Because I was coming to that.
By the way, your phone is a technology device. And your phone as an entrepreneur, there are loads of things you can use it to do. With your phone, you can manage your time effectively, which is even one of the greatest challenges a lot of entrepreneurs face. So now you are your boss. When you were, if you had worked in a structured environment before, while you had a boss, you had someone always checking on you, someone always asking you for feedback, someone always giving you work. Now that you're your boss, you need to learn personal leadership. Your phone, the phone that you always used to take selfie, that you always used to chat with your friends, that you always used to do other things, that phone can be your tool to help you, to guide you. You know that there are a number of apps on the phone. There's Calendly that you can use to schedule your time. The other planning tools that you have right there on your phone that you don't even need to pay for.
Yeah.
Somebody said that there are many people that are using phones that are smarter than them, right? Because they don't know all the things that they could use the phone to do productively. And that is free, by the way. You don't need to pay monthly subscription for some of those things. You don't need to subscribe. It is right there on your phones.
Okay, so I was going to ask that, I'm happy you talked about it because I had noted that, some of these tech solutions, some businesses, the kind of tech solutions they require is not so much of what they can do on their phones. They really, really require, maybe coming to set up a software within their premises and all of that. But I was going to ask you that, you are talking about practical solutions towards, strategies for growth, right? Can businesses, because I see this happen all the time, AK will crucify me because they will keep telling you that, what's it called? They have workshops, they have capacity building, blah, blah, blah. But I believe some of this capacity building and workshop is not tailored for a blanket, like a blanket solutions for all businesses. I feel that if small businesses begin to get something like a one-on-one kind of relationship where you come into this particular small business and you look at it and break down the solution that is tailored to that business, maybe we'll start to see the growth, and the sustenance that why is AK laughing? And the sustenance that we're asking for. Because most times, yes, they will tell you the banks, they are doing training, and everything. But because it does not meet my specific need, I might not even see the solution that they are trying to bring to me. Do you agree with this? And if it is true, how do we make that work?
Okay, so to be fair on these banks, right? They know that it is challenging for them, to gather 10 entrepreneurs in fashion, another 20 entrepreneurs in tech, another 50 entrepreneurs, in agribusiness, and then just focus on them just like that. So that's why they bring everybody together and share what everybody would use. However, So there's a gain in that. But however, it doesn't always touch down to what everybody needs at every point in time. So I agree with you, on that. But it's important that we applaud that they're doing something, right? It's important that we recognize that they're doing something. But in addition to that, we now need to now take it a bit higher. So these banks and other organizations, can also have bespoke solutions, because right now on this show, we're talking about SMEs, and there are 1,001 industries, across these SMEs. And the people watching this will start taking what they can use that applies to them.
Yeah.
On this show this evening, we cannot focus on one, because the conversation is not a focus on a particular one. So I will probably also encourage that ways, in subsequent editions, you can have agribusiness, you can have tech, you can just focus, you can have bespoke, so that you you speak to the specific issues, for specific businesses. I hope it's something you can consider, as you continue.
Absolutely, that's a fantastic strategy.
So AK, well done. But we can do more.
We can do more. We're going to take a break. AK, hold on. We're going to take a break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you're just tuning in, we're learning strategies for business growth, especially for our Nigerian business terrain. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow, or send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. And we still have Abiola Champ with us. Abiola, you know what? I was going to ask you this question before we went on a break, but I think AK has something to comment on what I said before the break. Then I'll come to AK and I'll come back to myself.
Well, very, very short comment. So what you said is valid, but you should also know that most of these capacity building programs stem from a survey or stem from asking people what they need. And at some level, especially at the micro level, the differences aren't so much. The specializations aren't so much. They have common problems that they need to scale before they even get to an area where you say you want to specialize. And there are common things that cut across different sectors. The commonalities that cut across. And then secondly, it's expensive. And the SME can also get it for themselves. Thank you.
Okay. I understand that it's expensive. And that's why I'm thinking that have we really found, because it amidst all the problem. And that's why I was going to, the question I was going to throw to Abiola is, Nigeria is actually unique. In fact, sometimes when I hear some business strategies that they're saying, if you do this, 2 plus 2 will become 4. In Nigeria, it's not like that. Your 2 plus 2 can become minus 10. Or it can be 20. It depends on how you understand it and you do the 2 plus 2, right? Strategies in the Nigerian business terrain, actually for me, I find that most times when people just give some kind of tips, and it doesn't really work like that. So that's why I'm actually harping on the fact that if we truly want to see growth and sustenance, right, how do we even navigate, what are the things to look out for in this Nigerian market? Then I'll come to Temi. Temi has been quiet for a minute.
Okay, so I like the fact that you're talking about strategies, and that certain strategies, 2 plus 1 may be minus 10 or 20. The thing with strategy, again, is when we use these words, especially in consulting and some other people, it gives the person speaking a feeling that is making sense, right? And then and the person may not be making sense, and it's simply about planning. And what I always recommend to clients, whether it's SME or even a fast growth business or well-established business already quoted on stock exchange, is that when you're engaging consultants and coaches for your strategy, be sure that they're not just people who are speaking English. Be sure that there are people who are, one, competent, and their competence does not necessarily show by the certificates they have, is by the proven track record they have. That is one. And two, is that they really care about your growth, about your business, not just that they are there for the money. So which is why when there's a strategy, so let's say in the beginning of the year as a client, where we came to your organization together, we worked on how you should run, this year, what you should do, what your marketing strategy should be, what your finance strategy should be, what your recruitment strategy should be, your HR strategy, and we agree on all of that. We don't just finish doing that. We say bye-bye to each other and then come back January of 2022 to see how far you have done. The way it is supposed to go is, while the strategy has been designed clearly and you are running with it, there is supposed to be constant monitoring.
Yeah.
Which is where that 2+2, because along the line, the 2+2 that you've designed in January, week 2 of that strategy, it may land to -10. Another 2 weeks after, it may become 100, right? And then different kinds of things can happen in the course of the year. So what happens with strategy is that strategy is not meant to be cast in stones. Strategy is supposed to be something you design as your guide for you to run with, and you keep on adjusting it. You keep on monitoring it. You cannot adjust if you're not monitoring. You keep on monitoring it so that you adjust based on the trends. Look at last year, for example. None of us expected that by second week in March, that things will shut down. Nobody did. So while in December of 2019 or January of 2020, whoever has put in strategies in place, that will always mean that everybody will gather together. Whatever business strategy you have, that means people will always converge in a place, to run that strategy. Automatically it will change. And so what was supposed to happen is constant monitoring. And now that one is a big blow anyway on the entire world, but there are times that the issue is not that big. It could be local, right? Absolutely. It could be local, it could be industry-wide, it could just be for a sector. Different things come up. We normally say VUCA. Everybody started talking about VUCA, during COVID. VUCA has always been VUCA. VUCA has always been VUCA. The world has always been VUCA.
I know. We just need to sound, like, let's circle back as consultants speak.
Yeah. The world has always been VUCA. So what to do is constant monitoring. So if 2+2 is not adding up to 4, what can we tweak? What can we change? If 2+2 is not giving us 100, and I also caution clients that if our 2+2 is giving you 100, don't get to town and start jumping up and rejoicing, because that same way that you experience that exponential growth without you planning for it, you can also experience exponential decline without you planning for it.
Yeah.
So it's not time to now go to the market and start spending the money anyhow, right? Take your wins, celebrate your wins, then re-strategize.
Absolutely.
Okay, so very quickly. Okay.
Go ahead.
You were going to say
something? Go ahead, Timmy.
Okay. So I know that a lot of small business owners are listening to us right now. So I just wanted you as the professional to actually tell them the importance of capacity building. We cannot stress it enough. Leadership, training, because I strongly believe that poor managerial skills is one of the problems that SME owners have. Because, you just get up, you just say, oh, I want to start a business. You have no training. If you look at our Igbo brothers, they're actually really strong businessmen because they dedicate time to apprenticeship. And that's what he does. You're someone's apprentice, you watch him, you learn the ropes, and then you start up your own and you're very successful. But a lot of people just want the shortcut approach. I was on Instagram a couple of days back, and I saw somebody aggressively marketing a course that will help you understand the algorithms of Instagram to be able to sell. You need to master Instagram. When you master Instagram, you know how to sell. And I'm like, what if there's no value? It's not knowing Instagram that helps you sell. It's the value that you're actually, if I buy from you the first time and you sell me something or your customer service is poor, I won't come back.
Sure.
So it's a multifaceted thing, but I know it all ties back to training. So you as a professional, I need you to tell us how important these things are and why we should take it seriously.
Great point, David. Now, it's important for entrepreneurs to know that you can't give what you don't have, right? You can't give what you don't have. And especially in this world, knowledge is key. And when we speak of capacity building, we are looking at 3 things. We're looking at getting cutting-edge knowledge, which is constant, which is something you should keep getting. So you don't get it in 2020 and then you are okay. No, you keep on getting it because change is constant. So you keep getting cutting edge knowledge, you keep refining your skills, and you keep improving your own attitude as well as the leader. You see, one of my favorite quotes is by A.W. Toffler, who said that the illiterate of the 21st century won't be about those that can neither read nor write, but about people that cannot learn, relearn, and unlearn. And this is about capacity building, which is so you are learning, you are getting new skills, you are getting new information, you're improving on yourself, you are relearning something you have always known before. You've always known it, but it's important for you to update yourself on it. Then you unlearn. So you probably worked in an organization for some 5 years and you were reporting to someone, but now you're in the position of leadership. I subscribe to the thought that, yes, leadership is not about position, but there are times it is about position. And once you start to run a business, you are automatically in a leadership position because you need to lead a team, you need to guide people. And you cannot guide people aright if you don't know even what to do yourself. So, and there are some entrepreneurs that when they hear capacity building, they think you're talking about their staff, right? They don't think you're talking about them, because the better, the more knowledge you have, the better you can run your company. The better equipped you are to run the company. It is not about ego tripping. It's not about that I'm now my boss thing. Knowledge is still your own boss because you don't know as much as you need to know at every point in time. So it's important to subscribe to it. And it is a lifesaver. It is part of the ways to cut cost because when you learn what you're supposed to do, you will not make a mistake. Even if you do, your error rate will be lower. I mean, think about it, that people that did not know about customer service, and then you've invested a lot, you've taken capital, you've taken some loan from a bank, and then you need to repay it with some interest. And then the team you have, they are not delivering exceptional service, for the customer to come back, right? And by the way, as the CEO, as the entrepreneur, you are the chief customer service officer. It is not delegated to the other people. You are the chief customer service officer, you are the chief technology officer, you are the chief marketing officer, you are the chief everything. Even if your business is big and you are the MD CEO and you have someone in the role of chief marketing officer or CTO or any of those things, you are still the chief executive officer. So you need to learn. That's what we are saying here. You need to learn. You need to humble yourself. You need to humble yourself. You need to learn.
Stop coming with your chest.
It is not, see, that status is not a shoulder carry status. That status is a service, right? Service to your customers, service to your team members as well, so that they can make your business grow. The way up is down. Somebody will say the way up is down, and that down is sitting down to learn. And this learning doesn't have to be expensive. This learning, again, I go back to your phone. This learning, you have Google on your phone, right? You can check out a lot of things on your phone. You can follow the right people even on social media, right? On Abiola Cham, for example, every now and then there's content that will help you to improve your business. You're not even paying for it. The only payment you are making is your data and that you are watching and you are learning and practicing. Absolutely. It doesn't even have to be expensive because when you don't learn, you are bound to fail. It is said that in the first 5 years of any business, that most businesses pack up. 80% of businesses pack up. And the reason for that, the number one reason for that is lack of knowledge. So you need to learn. Some people don't even plan. They just wake up in the year, they pray a lot that this year will be a great year, my year of success, my year of progress, my year of divine uplifting, my year of, all of those things. They don't even plan for the business. They don't even have things that they'll say, okay, this year, this is what we'll achieve month 1, month 2, month 3, just to have a forecast and then start running.
But with so much uncertainty,
this game.
Sorry, with so much uncertainty, I'm just wondering how people would plan. Because you know what, COVID just made me very weak. Because last year, everybody was planning, you were gingery in January, everything. When COVID happened, everybody, all your plans just scattered. But let me take comments from, AK, you have a comment, Tim, you have a comment. Let's take some comments from our audience. I'll take mine. Proven track record and care for your business. That's what I think Bimbo is saying, that there should be a proven track record and care for your business. Then Lio says most failures in business, I feel, is everyone trying to own businesses. Not everyone should be a business owner. For example, you learn makeup and immediately start running your own business without I think what Temi said, the apprenticeship process. That's from Lio. Temi, you have a comment with you. And AK, you have a comment with you.
Yes, I do. Yeah, so we have, it's kind of a love note from Bimbo from Aja, who runs a small business. As she says, I'm so in love with today's show. Thank you to the guests and ladies. A lot of notes for me. I am with my pen. Thank you, Bimbo. We're
Thank you,
glad.
Bimbo.
Thank you, Bimbo.
Thank you, Bimbo.
Okay.
Let me read mine. It's from Salusi from Abuja. It says businesses should always be in a state of flux to survive changes in the environment. So I think it aligns with what Abiola Champ has said, is that you constantly need to learn. You know, some businesses have grown tremendously under COVID. And there's one thing I want to mention about planning. Planning helps you adjust quickly to the changes than if you did not plan at all.
Yeah.
So if you planned, at least you know what you were planning and you know where to adjust. So just imagine that you had no plan. Imagine how flummoxed you will be.
You can even plan A and B. So you already know
C,
ahead
D,
of
E.
time that if A is not going
And
to work,
Z.
you just, exactly.
Okay, so because we have a few minutes left, I'd like AK to quickly come in, Temi, you come in, then Abiola Champ would round up for us.
Okay, so I think I would just close with what I opened with. There are things that you cannot control, but you need to identify the things that you can control and work on the things that you can control. If you do not need to pay rent, you don't have to pay rent. The more you learn, the more you become aware of the opportunities to improve efficiency and grow your business margins.
Yeah, and I would like to close something that Biola already said, that technology is not necessarily a big thing. It's not this big infrastructure that you need to buy. It's just the little things that you do that you know make your business more efficient. Look, this is a world of digital. That's the future. Digitalization, you know, we're going into this space where you must be able to do stuff digitally. And it also helps you, you know, break borders. You know, you want to stay in Nigeria and be able to offer your business products and services to, you know, people as far as Hong Kong and China and all of that. So embrace technology in every way that you can.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm sure, you know, that's a winner for every business.
Absolutely. So Abiola Champ.
Okay, so for me, I know as an entrepreneur, you really want to grow fast. You want to jump up to your vision. But it's important to know that if you jump up, you will come down. But if you grow up, you will stay up. And the way to grow up is to learn steadily, implement what you're learning steadily, remain flexible on the journey, and keep enjoying the progress.
Wow. Remain flexible. Flexibility, I think, is one of the challenges that a lot of people face. They are so, you know, because their mind is already made up. This is how it's supposed to be done, and they're not flexible to changes. So let me just quickly wrap up with Benson's comment that says, lovely and insightful program today. Plan, take action, and be ready to adapt to fluctuations. I mean, thank you so much, Abiola Champ. You have been an amazing guest. We are definitely going to bring you back. I hope you oblige us, you know, with your time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, thank you, ladies. Thank you, AK. Thank you, Temi.
AK.
All right.